Well, I thought I'd take you on a little mini tour of my garden area. This is kind of all a work in progress. I just flattened this area out. It was all lumpy and bumpy, and I was just trying to get it all flat so the water would run off. It wouldn't pool up over here. But anyways, enough about that. I'm going to show you some plants here. So over here, I had an in-ground mulberry. Still have an in-ground mulberry, but I cut all these off and grafted on some different varieties. And so I've got some like Lost Turkey and some Pakistan and some other things happening here. First time grafting mulberries. I've heard that they're pretty easy to graft, so hopefully that proves to be the case. And speaking of grafting, I dug out this large pineapple guava that I've been trying to grow for about 9 years in sort of a shady spot, and it never flowered. So I've decided I'm gonna just kind of start over on it. I put it in this 25-gallon pot, and I'm grafting on 6 different varieties. I'm halfway done with it. I did this variety a few years ago, but I'm adding Kaiteri onto it, and then Mammoth over here. And I've got 3 other varieties over there. I've got a Kakariki and Ramsey and some other, I forgot the name, some other kind of almost Japanese sounding name variety. So I'm going to have 6 different varieties grafted onto this one, hopefully, and then it should be pretty easy to get some cross-pollination with that. You can put any pineapple guava next to it, and it should pollinate pretty well. Over here I've been dragging out some Jaboticaba seedlings that I've been growing for about the past 5 to 6 years, kind of collecting different seeds, and they're getting bigger. They're kind of ranging up to about 4 feet tall. Some of them I've actually grafted. Let me see if I have a grafted one here. Yeah, I got a grafted one over here. I grafted a few different kinds onto this one. And I'm going to do some more grafting. I got some signs I got to put somewhere. Over here I've been doing a little bit of citrus grafting. I got some kumquats and some other things that I'm working on. I like to put my grafts in the shade after I do it so the UV doesn't cook the cyan and dry it out. Some mandarins and let's see, some other things. I forgot all the names. They're some unusual stuff though. Over here I'm working on, I think I've got all these different kinds of figs in pots, and I have one big fig in the ground called a Olympian, which I've heard is actually just a renamed English brown turkey. That's what I've heard. Anyways, I think that I haven't really had much production on my figs, so I'm not sure if it's because of the lack of sun, because we used to have some huge evergreen trees that got taken out in November. Now we're gonna have all day sun back here, full sun, or if I actually need to kind of cut them back and try to get them a little bit shorter, and I'm not sure. I have to figure that part out. Probably experiment with cutting them back and see what happens. Moving on. I have this flowery thing is a Cara orange. I've got some fruits coming out, some new flowers. Had that for quite a while. It reliably produces a handful of fruits for me, and they all taste good. I keep it around. Over here is a little strawberry guava that I've been growing from a cutting, and it's just starting to flower for the first time. Another type of, this is called a purple forest guava, or also known as botanically as Psidium myrtoides. Starting to grow. See what'll happen with that. Here's a kind of a rare Eugenia that I've been trying to grow. It's kind of a pretty one. It's called a Eugenia laytonii. It makes this red bark. I grew up in the Pacific Northwest, and there was a tree called a madrona tree, and it had kind of a reddish peeling bark. It reminds me a lot of the bark, but this one, unlike the madrona tree, it makes a really nice orange-sized fruit with actually a large seed inside, and I've never tasted it. I've heard it's pretty tasty though. This is something from Brazil, and I guess kind of more the southern part of Brazil, and it has a reputation for being pretty cold tolerant, so it might actually eventually become a plant that I can grow outside here. Another Eugenia, this is called a Squama flora. It kind of stayed buggy for me in the greenhouse, but I've kind of learned since then that the more I can keep it outside, the better off it is, and I don't have to worry about a lot of these Eugenias in terms of cold tolerance, because they take it pretty well down to the high 20s without suffering too much damage. And our winter was really mild. We only got a few times really below freezing, so I think it might be a good one for our area, possibly. Let's see, I've got another. This tall one is called a Uvaí, and this is another Brazilian similar orange fruit. I don't know, it was putting out these little things. They look like flowers, but somehow they just never turn into flowers. I'm not sure why. Sometimes they just look like that and then turn into leaves. It's kind of a mysterious plant. I'm not sure if I need to cut it down and try to get it to be bushier, or if it likes to be taller like that. We'll figure it out. Let's see, what else do I have here? This is a CZGM, which is this is a Jamun or Java plum, CZGM Kumini. I grafted this thing about 3-4 years ago, and it's been flowering ever since. It's got this, the initial, when you drag it outside, it's going to get a little bit of sunburn, and then the new leaves come out, and they're really sun tolerant. This thing dries out its pot really fast, and it's in a 15-gallon, so I think I'm going to actually have to probably pull it out, root prune it a little bit, and then put it in a 20-gallon. It gave me like 1 or 2 samples last year, which were kind of so-so tasting, but I think maybe it's just kind of warming up. Maybe it will turn into something good. I like the fruit. I grew the rootstock from seed that I got in Fruit and Spice Park in just south of Miami in Homestead, and I grafted a friend's that was more mature, and it started flowering pretty much right away. These are called Eugenia floridas. These have flowered and fruited for me a couple times. It makes a small berry that's black color and tastes surprisingly like a blackberry. This one, again, the leaves are looking ugly, but all this stuff will just kind of come off, and it'll come out with some beautiful new foliage in a matter of weeks. Some ice cream beans that are really tough. I got seeds from Los Angeles. A friend of mine who's in the gardening business, seed selling, his name's Hapa Joe. He showed me around his orchard, or kind of food forest, I guess you can call it, down there by LAX, and he sent me home with a couple of seeds, or a couple of pods of ice cream bean, and I planted some, and they've been growing for me really well. It's interesting, these they're actually pretty cold tolerant. There's I put these ones outside. I left them outside all winter. I'm just curious if they would actually stay alive, and I think they may be alive. We'll see. Another cold tolerance experiment I've been doing is that these are white sapotes here, and this is a Vernon. This Vernon I grafted about a year and a half ago. It's flowering for the first time. I heard it's a great container variety. It's actually been outdoors all winter, and same with this seedling. This one's been outdoors all winter. I suppose I should probably graft this over. And this is a Mary Lane. I got the scion from a seller named Mark, and he's in San Diego, and he is an amazing gardener. And I think this is some kind of local variety. I'm not sure, but I've heard it's pretty good. Putting out some beautiful new growth. This has actually been outside all winter as well. I am suspecting that white sapote is something that we might be able to grow here pretty easily with pretty minimal intervention. This is another Eugenia, this pretty thing. It's called a Eugenia acutata, and it's putting out new growth. I wouldn't be too surprised if it actually starts to put some flowers out this year. This is a Eugenia uniflora Suriname cherry. This thing has been flowering and setting fruit. Nice plant. I enjoy the fruit. Some people don't like them because they say they have this kind of strange resinous or diesel taste, but I can taste that a little bit, but I actually really like it. It's a nice plant. Over here, this is called a Eugenias stigmatosa. It's got this leathery leaf, very beautiful. It's got bronzed up from the sun, but it's pretty tough, and it put out a couple flowers for me last year, but it's actually starting to throw out quite a few right now. It seems to be outside. I've had it outside for a few weeks now, and it's reacting in a very positive way. Over here, this is called a Brazilian milk fruit. It was kind of unhappy in the greenhouse. I was guessing that it was just too hot. It seemed to be just not doing well. And so I put it outside, and it subsequently, all the foliage burned off and fell off. But I didn't fret. I just felt like, okay, it's doing its thing. And it looks like it's trying to regrow. See all kinds of foliage coming out everywhere. Some of the ends are going to be kind of dying back, as you can see here. I'm going to have to get my pruners out here eventually and prune it. But I think it's going to be good outside. I've never got this thing to flower, but I have a feeling this might be the year. Hopefully we'll see. A couple more unifloras. I've been growing these for a while. This one just started flowering, and I just put it outside the other day. Seems to be really happy out here. The weather's been sort of overcast, but I see the sun's coming out a bit, so we might see a little bronzing on that, but nothing to worry about. Over here, I've got these two big ones. These are called peanut butter fruit, and I've been growing these for a while. When the greenhouse gets warm in the February and March, they just kind of keep dropping leaves. They're not happy. They kind of get chlorotic looking, but I notice when I take them outside, when it's warm enough, they seem to look really happy. And also, I've been reading about them. I guess that they're pretty heavy feeders. These two have actually flowered for me, so I think what I need to do, because they do tend to drain their pots pretty fast of water. You can feel it's drying out. I probably will pull them out, prune back the roots, and put them in 20-gallon pots with lots of fertilizer, maybe even a little bit of compost or something, and see if that does the trick. I like to turn those flowers into fruit because it's a fruit that I've never tasted, and it is described to be tasting like peanut butter, sort of. Kind of surprising, and it sounds very interesting. This is a Soshang. I've had this thing for a long time, probably about 8 years. It's never fruited for me. It's a relative of Gumi. It's more of a tropical version. LA longus latifolia, I believe, is the botanical name. And it kind of got a little buggy in the greenhouse. I put it in the greenhouse. I suppose I didn't really need to, but I was just kind of not taking any chances with it. The leaves are starting to come off, and I am hoping that I can get this thing to flower. I put it outside a couple months ago. That was like in March, and it's been cleaned up. It's been getting cleaned up. It's got rained on a lot. The bugs. When I say bugs, I was talking. It's mostly aphids that were troubling this. So seems to be doing okay though. And I think the aphids are pretty much gone. I might need to kind of prune it back a little bit, shape it, and see if we can get it to start exploding with new growth. One more thing to show you over in this area, an update on the loquats. But before I get to those, this is a clove currant. I got it from my friend Matt, who's the owner of Wanderlust Nursery. This thing's putting out a lot of flowers. I've got a couple of several honeyberries here that I will eventually try to find a place for, and a pink blueberry, and let's see what else I got. Oh, this is a variegated Chilean guava. Another one from Matt that does fruit, and it is really nice. It's a beautiful plant and makes tasty fruit too. Can't beat that. I see some flowers coming out already on that. So as small as this plant is, at this size, which is only maybe about, well, if you're just counting the pot, it's probably about not even 3 feet. It'll put out like 100 berries. So it's a very good plant to grow if you have limited space and you want something that looks nice. Finally, to the loquats. The loquats are a challenge to grow in Seattle. Actually, they're easy to grow in Seattle. It's just the fruiting part's the hard part. And because we did have a mild winter, I did put them under these conifers. Lo and behold, I did get a couple fruits to show you. There's some more back here. Let's see. Get this one. Oh, yes. This variety I grafted on is from Kaz, a famous loquat grower, and he's developed many varieties. He's in, I believe, Orange County in California. And another one over here with some developing fruit. Sorry, it's garbage day, and the garbage trucks are really loud. And let's see, anything else? I got my finger lime over here, hidden away. It's about ready to flower. I am trying to keep it away from the other citrus because one thing I've noticed about finger lime is if you have it close to too many other citrus, it will cross-pollinate and put seeds all through the pods, which is something you don't want. You want these things to be as seedless as possible because nobody likes to eat seeds, and when you squirt them out, if there's, like, we can have a little finger lime like that long, about the size of my pinky, and it could have 100 seeds in that, and that is not fun to eat. So you just want only flesh, and it looks like little fish eggs that taste like lime. They're pretty nice. Some potatoes growing back there, volunteers. Anything else to show you? This is getting really long. I got fig cuttings and mulberry cuttings and some other stuff. I'll be checking to see, and some kiwi cuttings, of course. I'll be checking to see if any of that's actually setting roots and is sellable or shareable, and keep it posted. Thanks for watching today, and I'll see you on another video.